Salam Jumaat Barakah. Today is 9th of June. And this is ESC 501 class. This week is week 10. So today's class is about article analysis, right? I'm gonna use the article from the June's issue of Reader's Digest, right? And I'm going to show you how to do an article analysis. I've shared with you the article. For those of you who have the magazine, and this is what we also did in the class, I think 3D or 3E, one of those classes. Okay, today's article is from the health section, page 24, and if you look at the title, this one, yeah. The title is Obesity, the Other Global Pandemic by Helen Signy. So if you want to do an article analysis, I'm going to show you step by step, okay? This is week 10. So for the last 9 weeks, I believe you have at least two Reader's Digest magazines with you. One of my favorite section in Reader's Digest is health, okay? So you can start your article analysis with the title, Obesity, the Other Global Pandemic, all right, by Helen Signy, Reader's Digest, June 2023, page 24 to, I think it's 28, 31, all right. It has the right length for your article analysis, 31. All right, so what you can do, how are you going to start your article analysis? In this article, Signy, use the last name. Signy 2023. Okay, look at the caption of the article. It's time to rethink how we treat the seriousness of obesity, removing the blame and shame that people with this complex disease suffer. So Signy invites the readers to rethink how they here refers to the readers, how they treat the seriousness of obesity, removing the blame. Oh yeah, I remember now with 3D. I did this in the class with 3D last Wednesday at 10. The blame and shame that people with this complex disease suffer. So this is how you can start. All right. And then what else do you put in the article analysis? Okay. The first one is, so let's say you're working on the outline, yeah? Outline of the analysis. What you might want to consider the main ideas, the supporting details, and of course your critical analysis of the articles. All right. So what are the main ideas? Let's look at the main ideas. So this is an outline, okay, of your draft. So in this article, Helen starts with a story about Andrew Wilson. You have the article with you, right? So you can look at page 24. First column. Signy starts with a story, an anecdote Okay, so when writing, so this is writing tips, yeah. Okay, so this is another reflection note, writing tips. Okay, you can start with an anecdote. You know, um, sometimes students ask me if they want to write an introductory paragraph, they don't know how to start. So you can start with an anecdote, statistics, other than using statistics and research findings as your supporting details. You can also start with your introductory paragraph. But the important thing is when you write the introductory paragraph is very important to get the reader to keep on reading, to attract the reader to keep on reading. Or research findings, all right, in the introductory paragraph. All right. So in this article, Sydney starts with an anecdote about Andrew Wilson as a big kid, okay, and who has tried many types of diets, okay. He even lost 20 kilograms, but then the weight would return and more. He was always hungry. All he could think about was the next mouthful of food. So they are dialogues. So include some dialogues, okay, to make it interesting. All right. And also dialogues and illustrations. Okay. So illustrations, examples, statistics, those are personal experience. Those are supporting details, but you can also start your term paper or your writing. But let's focus on article analysis. So I'm going to put article analysis right here on the top so that you are aware that we are doing an article analysis. Okay. Put it in the center, bold them. All right. Next paragraph, next page 26. Andrew is certainly not alone. So now, Sydney, the author is slowly moving into the main idea. So look at this sentence. Obesity affects all areas of society, in every classroom, in every shopping center and street. People everywhere are living with excess weight or obesity. So what is the main idea here? So obesity is common. It's everywhere, right? But the way the way Sydney writes it, obesity affects every areas of the society, in every classroom, every shopping center, every street, okay, everywhere people are living. So this an illustration, but the main idea is obesity is common. Okay. Next, in South and Southeast Asia, page 26, first column, prevalence of obesity is predicted to double between 2010 and 2030. Okay, I would also like to draw your attention to vocabulary. Okay, prevalence. These two writing tips and vocabulary, these two are not part of the article analysis. But as you read an article, you notice that I'm also giving you some lessons on writing tips and also vocabulary. All right. So let's move on. So that's the prediction. Okay. So the issue here is not just obesity is common among adults and children. Because here there is a prediction that childhood obesity, which is rising steeply in parallel with adult rates across the region, may affect 45 million and Southeast Asian children over 5 years of age. All right. Many children are also above a healthy weight before age 5. And according to research, this means they are likely to continue to be overweight throughout their life. So here, you notice that in the supporting details, Sydney uses research findings, predictions, all right. People with obesity can experience serious health problems. So this is another main idea. Okay, health issues related to obesity, the danger, all right? But the worst things is the stigma, other than stigma. See, you don't have to copy word by word, but you rewrite or you retell. So that's one of the strategies in paraphrasing. Paraphrasing means as you read, and then what do you understand from that paragraph? And when you want to write your analysis, you paraphrase it instead of copying down every word. How do you do that? By retelling. What do you understand about it? By extracting the main idea and use the retelling method or paraphrasing methods. Okay, retelling is one of paraphrasing methods. By retelling or even by using synonyms. All right. So the worst thing is the stigma. Okay. I remember when the parents, so again, back to the anecdote, parents at my son's kindergarten didn't want to talk to me outside the classroom. Some wouldn't even look at me because of my size. That impacted my son. He was teased. So it could be like the social relationship, right? The social impact of obesity. And how did he do that? He does that by giving an anecdote, an example, personal experience. Okay, so we identify another through the anecdote that is an example of personal experience that is used by the author to show her points. Okay, so let's read further. Okay. But there's increasing recognition. Obesity is caused by a complex set of factors outside an individual control, such as illness, genetics, childhood trauma, and the environment and society. So this is an important point here. So you can put here under the main ideas, obesity can be caused by many factors such as illness, genetics, childhood trauma, the environment, and society. Okay, another way to paraphrase is to move the sentence structure. Okay, so what you want to do here is there are many factors. There are many factors for obesity. Instead of using can because that's the word that is used in the text. There are many factors for obesity, and you don't use such as again. There are many factors for obesity, namely. So you use, this is what I mean by using synonym. That's another strategy for paraphrasing. There are many factors for obesity, namely illness, genetics, childhood trauma, the environment, and society. All right, as mentioned in the article. Okay, so in Andrew's case, he turned to food at a very young age as a coping mechanism for physical and mental abuse. So that is an example. Okay. So here for supporting detail example. Okay. And let's look at the next paragraph, page 27, first column. Pediatrician Professor Louis says that when she trained as a medical student in 1970s, the subject of obesity was covered in a 1-hour lecture during the entire 6-year course. It wasn't also seen as an issue concerning children. So remember, this article is about obesity among adults and children. So, and the author also uses expert opinion, all right, to address, to show that obesity was also not given, this issue was not given much importance in the trainings for doctors, for medical doctors, okay? Meaning that out of the 6 years course, when they're studying medicine, they only learn 1 hour on obesity. And for children, it's not, it's not seen as an issue. However, from the 80s, doctors started to see more young patients who were becoming dangerously overweight. Today, in her clinic in the Children's Hospital, Professor Boss sees a succession of children with moderate to severe obesity and is making them sick. So there are some explanations here. Okay. All right, explanations as well. Okay. And another expert opinion that Sydney uses in her article is WHO. According to World Health Organization, all right, and also statistics from World Health Organization, and writing tips. Okay, I come across another writing tips is use questions. So let's say if you are writing, this is for if you're writing your term paper, or inshallah next semester when you're doing your academic writing, you're writing your essays, and you're in the middle of writing, you can start with questions, right? In the middle of or in the middle of the paper, what's going on? Has the world turned to overeating in the last 40 years? Or are there other factors at play? All right. So asking question is another way. All right. So the problem is that in recent decades, the way we live has changed dramatically. Most people in the world are eating diets full of energy foods like takeaways, chips, and sugary drinks. So these are examples, okay? And at the same time, we are moving less as we grow increasingly reliant on cars. Many developing countries. So these are all explanation, illustrations, okay? And also research findings. Research findings. All right. One study followed a group of overweight people. Okay. Sorry. I say around 60 to 80% of overweight and obesity can be attributed to genetics. So earlier, one of the causes for obesity is genetics. So this is the explanation. This is what we call the minor details. Remember when when you're talking about ideas, there are two types of detail, major and minor detail. So this is minor details, all right? In the form of research findings, okay? Says Professor Brian, editor-in-chief of Obesity Review. So this is minor detail, okay? But here's the rub, once we start to put on weight. So this is another point. Our biology changes to make it harder and harder to lose it again. So this is another idea. Okay. So according to Sydney, once, all right, once we start to put on weight, our biology, okay, it can be, so this is how you paraphrase, it can be challenging to lose weight once you start putting on weight. All right. So you change the sentence structure, you rewrite it. Okay. So that's how. So let's say you already have a draft here, right? What you do is copy the main ideas because you have to write. Sorry, it can be challenging. Copy the main idea. This is your draft, your outline. Copy your outline into a draft. Okay. So now we are turning this into none. Okay. And make it a paragraph. Okay. So align the paragraph. We want to have an aligned paragraph. Adults and children. And arrange that is social. Obesity is common. This article, and then watch the flows. This article discusses the health issues related to obesity, other than the stigma. The stigma and the social impact of obesity. There are many factors for obesity, namely illness, genetics. Okay. Okay. The author also asserts that. All right. So there's your outline. Sydney supports points using, okay, here. Hey, we already have research findings. So that's why check, check. When you are working on your article analysis, you go statistics. All right. All right. So this is up to page 29. So there are three more pages, all right? So there is on page 29, second column, obesity has serious consequences for health, is a risk factor for a range of chronic diseases, including heart disease, cancer, asthma, diabetes, liver, and kidney disease. So just now, um, such as chronic disease, chronic disease, cancer, asthma, diabetes, and liver and kidney disease. Liver and kidney disease. There are also stigma and social. There are also stigma and social impact of obesity on obese people. So when you're working on your graphs, okay, this is what you can do. All right, there you go. Check the spelling, check the subject verb, check the subject verbs, okay, check the flow, right? So this is your article analysis, okay. So what else? Target audience. This article is suitable for whom? Public? Not just public. This is suitable not just for public, but also researchers, teachers, parents, and those who are obese. All right. And then the language use. The language is simple and straightforward, except a few words that you might want to look up, you know, like this word prevalence. Okay. Obesity. All right. The difference between noun and verb, yeah, adjective. Okay. Words like conjure up image. Conjure up image. Okay. All right. To use questions. Like, so writing tips, what's going on? All right. So we have the vocabulary and you have the article, right, with you. So you can continue reading until page 31. So this is how you can do your article analysis. Okay. Where do you get? Okay, for the past few weeks, I've been encouraging you to get your articles to read Reader's Digest magazine because they are semi-academic, and then to practice reflection. So if you have been doing, if you have been reading the articles in Reader's Digest, and if you have been reading, if you have been writing, if you have been doing your reflection, you would have learned 20-30 new words easily. Okay, and then from one magazine, at least 10 new words, okay, from the articles. So thank you for your time, and then I hope you would benefit from this. We're going to take a short break. Yeah, we're going to take about 5 minutes break. Okay.